Japan is a very cool place with thousands of years of history, but these are 5 cool topics. First, volcanoes. There are roughly 440 volcanoes in Japan, almost like a Jurassic Park. Due to this, only 20% of Japan's land can be farmed. Volcanoes are dangerous, very dangerous. One example is the Mount Fuji eruption in 1707, which caused destruction of agriculture, starvation, lots of ash and smoke, and darkness. Next is earthquakes. There are an estimated 1,500 earthquakes per year in Japan. The reason earthquakes are so common in Japan is because the Pacific plate is sliding underneath the North American plate, while to the south, the Eurasian plate is riding over the Philippine Sea plate. Earthquakes can also be very deadly. One example is the Kanto earthquake in 1923. This was a 7.9 magnitude earthquake that burnt half of Tokyo and had 3 separate waves of destruction. Japan started the feudalism system, which had 8 main roles. At the top was the emperor, which was pretty much a useless Karen with no real power. Lower than it was the shogun, basically the Sigma. He had all the real power. Then the daimyo, rich people who owned land, followed by samurais, ronins, peasants, artisans, and at the bottom was merchants. The feudalism system was very organized. Their country was divided into clear sectors, with each class of citizens being clear on their societal role. Within the sectors, their job was clearly defined and ran efficiently. On the other hand, Japan's feudalism system had a big problem with class division. Equal rights wasn't a thing in feudalism. Your freedom was decided on your class level. If you were born into a peasant family, womp womp, you could not do anything. The upper class benefited richly from the lower. Materials provided from the lower class gave the nobility a glorious life. Japan had lots of famous people, but one in particular is unique. Her name is Murasaki Shibu. She wrote is what to believe the first poem ever created, called The Tale of Genji. She is very lucky to be taught Chinese language and literature, subjects reserved for boys. Unfortunately, there were downsides. Women were not recognized much, and she was born into an aristocratic family. Even with these downsides, Murasaki Shibu still managed to write the famous Tale of Genji. Lastly is sumo. Sumo is estimated to date back to 300 BCE to 300 CE. Some people might think sumo are big fat hunk of junks who slap other people, but sumos are very athletic and work out. Sumos are big people eating 10 times as much as food as an average person, and it's common for them to chug a 6-pack of beer with their lunch or dinner. There are 6 main classes in sumo wrestling: Makuchi, which is the first; Juryo, the second; Makushita, the third; Sandame, fourth; Jodian, fifth; and Janakuchi, which is the last. Before sumo matches, sumo wrestlers do rituals. Some include throwing salt in the ring, stomping feet, and clapping.